Okay, I guess it all started. My mother had mental health issues, and I'm from Hagerstown, Maryland originally, and when I was 6 years old, she got a job at Boeing, and she moved out here. And she married my stepfather and had my brother and sister shortly after, and ended up, my grandmother had mental health problems, and she seemed to just inherit them. And as a child, it was terrifying. She was abusive, and I'm working just to forgive her. But anyway, I saw a lot of things, and she took me to psychiatrists. She tried to give me those pills, and when I was 13 years old, I ran away. I learned, early on that the people in charge are perfectly untrustworthy. I grew up in group homes, and fortunately, by some miraculous thing, I never. Nothing, a lot of experiences that a little 13-year-old should not be going through, but nothing bad ever really happened to me. Something has been watching out for me my whole life. And so, I had 7 kids by 4 different men. I lived on welfare. I was really clueless after I grew up. I had my first child a week after my 18th birthday. And, then I got into the Carpenters Union, and a little bit after that I started looking for spirituality and went to a fundamentalist church. To make a long story short. And in 2002 I had a severe depression. It wasn't the first depression I ever had, but this was a whopper. A whole lot of things. There were some deaths, and my father died that I never knew, and so that summer I was pretty bad off. I really was my brain, your brain kind of clicks down when you get into a severe depression, and it's really weird. So at that time, I'd learned that you cannot trust these people. You cannot trust the mental health people. They have not done me any favors in my life, and they ruined my mother. And so, there came a point where I had to make a choice. It was a song that woke me up. It was like, I got a choice to make. Either I can go that way that my mother went, I can kill myself, or I can get better. And I dove into self-help books and journaling. I still journal, I kind of need to get on it again. And I battled for my recovery, and I stayed away from them. I was homeless, and I was having these huge revelations. I was not depressed at all. I had found my purpose for living. I understood that us carpenters, not a big fan of the cross, not a big fan of communion, because it's like we build those buildings, and then they throw us out on the street. They with their messed up laws, throw the builders and the good people out on the streets because they're nothing but, and they put crosses on and say, you come try to take your building back, that's what we're going to do to you. So just my little revelations. And so I was at the story about what, okay, I went to my friends, and one of their mothers was a mental health professional. And I was just going, Ada, they stole your house. Take it back, because she had gone through foreclosure. Go move back into your houses. This is ridiculous. And so, and what happened was there was a kid there that I knew, and I think he was angry at me. And he told her that I was on every psychedelic drug known to man. And they didn't feed me. They didn't give me a place to stay. They called my daughter over, and she's 19 years old, and she got kind of caught up in it. And I think my oldest son had a little something to do with it too. Do you have a history of mental health and all this? And I'm not, they're not making any sense to them, because I'm not concerning about my health, and my body was going downhill. I was oh, she's bipolar, she's manic. No, I was finally seeing the truth of this insane society, that our value system is absolutely messed up, and I had to get it out. It was more important than my own life. And so what they did was they said, okay, well, Michelle, we're going to go over to see your oldest son. Oh, great. Well, what happened? There's another story besides that, too. I was staying at Seahurst Park. I'm going to back up for just a couple days. I was staying down at Seahurst Park in Seattle, and it's a very steep, short drive down to the beach. And I was walking home. I was staying there. I had my suitcase, and I was walking along, and I saw this car come careening up the hill. It flipped. It didn't flip completely. It skid on its side. And it came to a stop. I'm climbed up on a hedge because I don't want to get run over. I'm up on a rockery. And these kids stop, and I'm like, I go on screaming on their hood of their car. You guys almost got killed. And like the one kid got it. He took off. This little girl's coming up to me going, oh, it's okay. You need a chill pill. And the kid in the car is drunker than all get out. They're all drunk. And anyway, the neighbors all came out. So anyway, I'm over at my friend's house, and a couple days later, and my daughter comes, oh, Mom, we're going to go over to Gabe's house. So I go up, and I'm waiting for the bus with my friends and my daughter, and I think, oh, I get another revelation. It's the $1 bill. In God we trust that we are all one. And I had 6 cops on me. I have no criminal record. I never said I was going to hurt myself or anybody else. I have never said I was hearing voices, none of that. And I had 6 Seattle police officers all over me when a few days before I watched a car full of kids nearly die and walk away. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, they threw me in Harborview Mental Psych Ward. And so, yeah, I stayed in there for 2 weeks. There was a lawyer, and I still have her bar number. She wanted to sue him. She kept, there's nothing wrong with you, Michelle. You bet there's nothing wrong with me besides I've seen the truth. And so I'm having apocalyptic dreams. I'm having mass like claustrophobia, anxiety. These pills are doing nothing but I can't sleep. I've never had a trouble sleeping. And they did kind of fix me up. You know, they fed me good, soft, mushy food, and gave me nicotine patches. They even lowered my nicotine dose without even telling me. It was just, you weren't allowed to touch anybody. And just the whole reinforcement that, and oh, that's the whole thing too, is they spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to find something wrong with me. The problem is they had to use bipolar because they couldn't find anything wrong with me. Anyway, I was like, about had it, and I called my son. I had earned privileges. I'd done everything they wanted to. I said, Devin, you better come down here and get me a cigarette. And we were walking outside. My son's an anarchist, and he's like telling me about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm going, hey, I'm outside. I'm going to keep going. And I did.